Switch it up now. Take it like, take it like, I like it when you move your booty from the.
This is the new DJI Transmission, an insane wireless video transmission system that, just jumping right into my final opinion, absolutely rules. But let's go back. Earlier this year, I reviewed the DJI 4D, a camera that completely rethinks what a single camera system could and should be, and I was entirely blown away by it. You can see the full review in the notes below. But there were a few things on that camera that really made my filmmaker heart sing the loudest. First was the LiDAR autofocusing, and the second was the transmission system built into the camera itself. And now DJI has broken both of those things out to be outside of just the 4D, like with the new RS3 Pro using LiDAR, which you can see that in the review we just put up last week. And now with this transmission system that buries all other wireless transmission systems that I've used. I feel like it's been a long time coming too. DJI has had incredible wireless transmission for years in their drones, and I've always been impressed with the range that they pull from these things. But now, again, we're using this on any camera that we'd like. But let's start with what this system comes with. I have the combo kit, and in here we have our sun hood, the high bright remote monitor, which is also our receiver, the transmitter, our batteries and charger, power adapters, gimbal adapter plate, and of course all of this fitting nicely into the case that it comes with. If we take a closer look at the transmitter, you'll see that we have a few ports here. We have HDMI, SDI in and out, USB-C for firmware updates, and DC power. So you can power all of this off of their batteries or connect it up with your system to something like V-mount or gold mount. On the opposite side, you have the power button, a nice menu screen, and a scroll wheel to control it. It's a simple menu with a handful of options, nice and easy to use. For mounting, you have some threads here on the bottom, but if you are using this with the RS3, you can mount it right underneath the camera like we showed in our other episode. Then we have our receiver, the high bright monitor. First and most obvious thing here is the screen. It really is a gorgeous and bright screen. I said it in our 4D review, but this is definitely a favorite monitor for me as far as the screen goes, and everything else for that matter. But we'll come back to the screen. For the ports, we have a headphone jack to monitor audio. Below that, we have a micro SD card. I love this addition because it allows you to record H.264 proxies as you shoot, so you can check playback whenever needed or take these files and do any rough cuts that you need as well. And a very important feature for this is that you can set the system to trigger recording on those proxies when you hit record on the camera itself. Moving down again, we have an HDMI slot. This will allow you to use the monitor as a normal reference monitor when you aren't using it with the wireless transmitter. So you plug it into any camera that you'd like and away you go. So you aren't just locked to the wireless video side if you don't want to be. And finally, we have the USB-C again for firmware updates. Then in the back here is where we can mount our battery, and down here I have the optional accessory that gives you DC in, HDMI, and SDI out. But this is an additional purchase. Up top we have our antennas, which if we wanted to, we could swap these out to the high gain antennas, toss those on the transmitter as well, and you get even more range out of this monster. But if we swing back around to the screen, we can see all the video assist options here, like LiDAR for focusing, zebra waveform, false color, peaking, and so on. It's all what you would expect, and it all works great. But the main star of the show here is the distance that this thing can travel and still pull signal from the camera, which on paper can do 6 kilometers. Of course, that's going to be direct line of sight, but that is still insane. But before we take a closer look at that, I want to thank Motion Array. Motion Array is a Swiss Army knife of digital resources for creators. First, you have this massive library of assets like video templates, stock footage, photo, music, and sound effects. Like if we dive into the templates here, you can sort by After Effects, Premiere, Resolve, Final Cut, and more. And you have these great fully built out templates that let you get in and customize for your own project. And you can filter this down to find exactly what you need here, whether you're looking for lower thirds, a logo, or a full-blown promo, from nice and clean and corporate to more fun and stylized creative ideas. And of course, you do have these After Effects templates, which are going to give you a lot more flexibility flexibility and control to change things exactly how you want them. Then you have presets for all kinds of different effects like color filters, light leaks, and glitches. Then, as we've shown before, they do have an extension panel, which you can put right inside of Premiere and After Effects to dive through everything right there and bring it right into your project. So you don't need to open the browser at all. And of course, all of that is great, but there's a lot more to build this resources out for creators. First is their plugins. This is a bunch of transitions and effects to use inside of Premiere. Download and install, then find them in your effects folder. Then you have this great collaboration tool that comes with the subscription as well. You can upload your work to send and receive notes to help with remote workflows. Then another thing you wouldn't expect is a really solid site builder. In their portfolio builder, you can make your own site to show off your work and use a custom URL to make it fully yours and pro. They really do have a little bit of almost everything. It really is that Swiss Army knife for filmmakers. And for subscriptions, you have annual, which saves you some cash, or monthly, so you can grab it when you need it per project. And these are all one universal license to cover you for however you need to use it. So definitely jump in the notes and check this one out. It's got a huge range of benefits for creators.
Logo.
So I have Josh set up on the gimbal here, which is transmitting to the monitor here so I can see whatever he's doing. Josh is gonna go as far as he can in the studio and see how far he can get while we still have a solid signal. Just go as far in the studio as you can.
Can you still see me?
So now this is going through 4 walls and there's no drop whatsoever so far. So now this is as far as it could possibly go in the studio. Why don't you go outside and go back to the alleyway?
Ow.
I'm not even like dropping in the megabits per second all that much. The focus is working great, no issues. It doesn't feel like there's any lag whatsoever with the focus.
Dude, I'm pretty far.
Josh is now outside of the studio, all the way down the field. So we're going through a couple of walls inside the studio, then a concrete wall, and then he's all the way down our parking lot and the field. And I could perfectly pull focus, no issues whatsoever. Okay, so now we're starting to lose it, but I'm still pulling focus. Yeah, it's pretty much there now. That's pretty much as far as we're gonna get.
Well, look how far I am.
Oh, and you're in the trees.
Yeah.
Okay, well that makes way more sense. So now it's down a hill through some trees and shrubbery or whatever, and I'm still getting sick. I can still pull focus.
And again, on paper, this is supposed to go 3.7 miles line of sight, and it transmits the video at 50 megabits per second, which of course will reduce the farther away you get. And you can see where you are at with that in the readout here at the top of the screen. But the range isn't the only thing that's great. You can also toss these handles onto the monitor as well. When you couple this with the RS3 Pro, you get this complete system that you only really see in crazy expensive pro gear. With everything connected, not only can I monitor, but I can trigger my camera to record, and with compatible cameras like the Sony's, I can fully control the camera menu. But better still, I can pull focus wirelessly right from the wheel here, and I love that it's all one system for that. I don't need to mount the monitor and use a separate follow focus. It's all in this system. But did I mention the distance is insane?
All right, so Josh is in the car over here. He's gonna drive power lines, all kinds of crap. We'll see how far we can go. We put on the high gain antennas this time, strapped in on the car. All right, go ahead. Let's see how far we get. And this is incredibly cool too, because I'm just operating the gimbal during all this. So far, he just turned the corner. I still got him, looking really good. So he's gone now. I can't even see him. There's buildings between us now. There's power lines between us now. Headed all the way down the road here. Okay, now I'm starting to lose him. There's a junkyard here. There's like these semis between us. There's buildings between us. I think I have fully lost him now. Yeah, I've fully lost him now. We're between 3 different lines of power lines where between cars and probably 6 different buildings. I got him back again. Once he got past that area there, he came back. So I mean, it's doing pretty freaking well. And this is not line of sight. Like everybody tests at line of sight, and with line of sight, it can go a really long distance. I'm not doing line of sight here. I wanted to see how many things can we put in between the 2 systems and still get signal. And that's crazy. That's further than any system I think I've ever used. I mean, I've had stuff where it's just one wall and it's breaking down on me. That was just between all kinds of cars, 3 layers of power lines, 5 or 6 different buildings, and probably 1,000 feet away, and it's still working.
And finally, you have Gimbal Control. Again, I can connect to my RS3 Pro and operate the gimbal right from the monitor. So I can either control that with the joystick here, or I can turn on gyro control, and then as I pan the monitor, the gimbal pans. As I tilt, it tilts. So while monitoring, I can also be operating the system as well. So my actual operator can focus on controlling the shot as much as they can, while I focus on keeping proper framing. Or you could just leave the system completely unmanned and operate remotely like this. Drop it on the floor and use it as a remote head, send it up on a crane. The whole thing is just insane. But that's it, an absolutely bonkers new system from DJI that I am madly in love with. And I know that I've been gushing all over this stuff, and DJI has partnered with us for these episodes, but this is all my true and unbiased opinion. This stuff really is incredible. So if you want to know more or to grab it for yourself, check out the link in the notes below. And of course, as always, if you aren't subscribed, consider doing that and hit the bell to be notified when we put up more content. Until next time, don't forget to write, shoot, edit, review.